What's going on, you guys? What's going on? What a day. What a year so far, right? What a year. How about that? What a year. I'm already exhausted and we just started. Already exhausted and I just started. Oh, man. So much to talk about. Give y'all a few minutes to get in here. Get things pinned up on YouTube. Everything. Digital guy, what's up, guy or digital, my man? I'm gonna be talking about you too. Just wait for it. Wait for it. Man, oh man, oh man. What a mess, you guys. What a mess. Great Eye Jewel, what's up? What is going on? I hope I can keep my thoughts together. There's so much stuff running through my mind, you guys. There's a lot running through my mind. So I got to figure out where to start from. Maybe Mamdani. We'll start there. We'll probably start with Mamdani. That might be a good place to start with. And actually, I think that'll be good. BCP OG, what is going on? Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll give you guys a minute to share this. I'm kind of getting over. Oh, I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you guys in a minute. Kind of getting over some stuff. I was being down in Portland kind of took me out. I kind of got sick for a few days. That was some spiritual warfare I was doing. I'll just put it that way. So dealing with Leilani for an hour and a half of seriously battling. Yeah. Yeah. And what I mean by that is when you go to do that type of stuff, like with what I was doing and having the conversations that I was having with Leilani, if you guys do not remember, I'm talking about the night before New Year's Eve in Portland, Oregon. And I'm having this hour and a half conversation with her about God, about life. A lot of people think that, demons and stuff like that are going to be, growling and fangs and snarling and things like that. And that's not the case at all. It's not the case. And so I'm sitting here having this spiritual warfare with her live in the flesh, live on camera. And the next day I drove back home and I was just gone. New Year's Eve, I didn't do nothing, went to church, great service. And it's funny because the service had to do with why you do the things you do, the whys. And it was just so pinpointed, why I do what I do. I know it has nothing to do with money, because obviously I've been doing this stuff before I started live streaming. I was already in the streets. I was already active, preaching the word of God, why I do what I do. And the message was just spot on. I came home from the message and I crashed, slept with a hoodie on. I was knocked. And anyway, so I'm just now, you guys can still hear it in me. I'm still just stuffed up. So anyway, that's a little bit of that. So I'm just now coming out of it. Real quick, you guys, before I get going, super chats are open as always. Stars on Facebook. I have things pinned on YouTube and Facebook. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. Everything is the BC Preacher. And the wish list is also updated because of stuff from our fire that we had. So I added some stuff from that if you guys want to help. So Yeah, a lot to talk about. So Mamdani gets sworn in on New Year's Day, right? He gets sworn in, and the big talk about it is he swore in with his hand on the Quran. Now they call it the Holy Quran, right? That's what they call it because that's their holy book. But they also believe in the Bible, but they keep the Holy Quran at a higher level than the Holy Bible, right? Because they follow more of the Quran. So it's interesting that people are like mad about it that, okay, well, Mamdani swore in twice, right? For the United States, he put his hand on the Quran. Probably, I don't know if it's the first one in history, but it was definitely the first one for a mayor. I'd have to look and see if it was the first one for history. I didn't look at that. So he puts his hand on the Quran, gets sworn in. And people question it, but it's not like a big deal. And you have to ask yourself why. Like, why isn't that a big deal that a man who's running for office or becoming a mayor here in the United States can put his hand on the Quran and still say God, which that's a whole nother topic because, and I've said this before to you guys, the word God don't mean anything. It's just a word. It's just, right? It's just a word because the God that he is serving isn't the same God of the Holy Bible. So the word God isn't, we pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, right? All that. One nation under God. Well, what God? And of course, we're going to say as conservatives, as Republicans, right? Well, it's Jesus Christ. It's God of the heaven. It's God of this earth. But we really don't know that, right? And I say that real quickly. I say that because Muslims have similar godly moral principles as Christians. That's just being real. And in some cases, even stricter, right? You can't touch the women. They're modest. So in some aspects, they're even more, they don't believe in abortion, right? They don't believe in the LGBTQ stuff. So some of their morals regarding God is even at a more of intense level than Western. But that said, he swears his hand in on a Bible, right? And you have to wonder, like, how is that okay? Or is it okay? Is that part of the freedom of religion? Is that part of the freedom of religion? Are they allowed to do that? And of course, it feels weird because it's like, okay, where are we going? And if you know about where they want to take Islam and what they want to bring it into our country, right? So this is how they do it. They do it out of niceness, out of kindness, out of being charming, and they're allowed to lie through deception, through this type of stuff. They're allowed to lie. And I see, real quick, I see someone saying this is the most Laura loves it USA. So if you're not understanding what I'm saying that Muslims when it comes to the word God, they have godly moral principles. They don't believe in abortion. That is a godly principle. They believe in modesty, which is a godly principle. They don't want homosexuality, which is a godly principle. So those are godly type of things that if we'd say, well, America has godly morals. We say all the time, well, America was founded on God. Well, if it was founded on God, why don't we have those same type of principles? We don't, but they do. That's what I'm trying to say. In regards to the God word, right? Because I was trying to explain that the God word is a generic word. It don't mean God, like how us Christians and conservatives, Republicans, whatever, think of God. It don't mean that. Can it mean that? Yes, but it don't always mean that, because that's why it says, God can be your money. God could be this, so that's what I was explaining. But with that said, let me just show you guys what he did.
Repeat after me. Raise your right hand. I, Zoran Kwame Mamdani, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Okay, so real quick, again, the Muslim religion is allowed to lie for gain. So he solemnly swears to support the Constitution of the United States, but does he really? Does he really? Because I am an infidel. According to his religion, which that means it would go against the Constitution because I'm actually an infidel. And within their book, and a lot of them don't like to talk about it or they excuse it away, I'm supposed to die because off of my head because I'm an infidel, according to their book. So according to the Constitution, he would defend the Constitution, but what? So it's just something to think about. Interesting that he says that.
Constitution of the State of New York.
Constitution of the State of New York.
And the Charter of the City of New York.
And the Charter of the City of New York.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
The duties of.
The duties of.
The office of.
The office of.
The Mayor of the City of New York.
The Mayor of the City of New York.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
So not only that, right? So that's at midnight, New Year's Eve. He does that. The next day he does one with Bernie Sanders outside, right? So he does one outside with Bernie Sanders, he swears in again with his wife and Bernie Sanders with his hand on top of the Quran. I just don't understand how that can be okay. And then at the same time, we still call ourselves a Christian nation. And this is why I say we are not a Christian nation. The nation may have been formed and birthed with some godly principles, but I do not believe that we are a Christian nation. Maybe once upon a time it was more so, but definitely not now. We've definitely have veered away from any a Christian nation. And I think it's going to take, if we do return back to a more of a Christian nation, so to speak, it's going to take more than a president to make that happen. It's going to take mayors. It's going to take governors, because that's a city thing. Trump or whoever's president also would have to be a Christian president. And that's the problem where you lie with where we're at in America. And I've already talked about this several times for the past 4 years, is that we have freedom of religion. So that takes away the fact that we're a Christian nation. You can't have freedom of religion and call yourself a Christian nation, because what happens is that you have all this mumbo jumbo coming in, right? So you can't say we're a Christian nation, because if you go to a Muslim nation, they're a Muslim nation. That's what they are. They're a Muslim nation. They're not Muslim mixed with Christian and mixed with, Catholic, mixed with Jehovah's Witness, mixed with Mormon, mixed with, they're a Muslim nation. They're Muslim. That's their religion. So we can't say we have this Christian nation when we say we have freedom of religion, so that you're able to practice being a Satanist if you want. You're able to practice being Muslim if you want in our nation. So we're all up in arms right now because we say, oh, well, freedom of religion, and the Muslims are here and they're taking over. Well, we have freedom of religion here in America. So what do you do with that? How do you say Muslims get out of here when you say, oh, it's freedom of religion? Now you're in a pickle, because now who wants to really uphold or redo the Constitution, or get it abolished or rewrote? If we say that Muslims can't be here, Islam can't be here. Now I get it. People are going to say, well, not their practices. Well, their practices are their practices based off their religion. Still in a pickle, still in a what situation? How do you do that? So it's a tough one. In my opinion, it's tough because if you say the Constitution, we got to uphold the Constitution. We have to stand by the Constitution. Well, the Constitution says freedom of religion, their freedom to practice their religion. Right, freedom of religion within the boundaries of our laws. But most of their, I'll say most of their religion, right? Most of their religion has nothing to do with our laws. Our laws don't say that you can't lie. People lie all the time, right? People lie all the time. It's a tight and sticky rope because again, we, meaning people in America, have allowed all these different doors to be open throughout time. Then you get rights, then you get civil rights and all these type of things. But what's funny about what happened also is this. Now, did you understand any of that? Because I certainly did not. I did not understand any of that. But that was performing probably at City Hall on a stage out in the open for the inauguration of Mamdani, right? Muslim song, more than likely, speaking in Arabic language. Okay, speaking in Arabic language isn't a sin. It's not bad, right? They can do that. He's allowed to do that. But that's what's going on. Do you think this stuff is going to spread? Or do you think that's it? Do you think this is going to spread in our country? And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm going to ruffle the feathers now. What if, so much stuff. What if, which happens, it is happening, it does happen. What if it was, let's say Trump, a Republican, a conservative, patriot, who was Muslim or who was embracing Muslim, and the roles were reversed, right? And now, because Trump is the Christian leader, right? He's a Christian leader. He's defending Christians and he has the voice. And he's saying, well, hey, Christians, we're all going to come together for the sake of the United States. And we're going to join. Christians and Muslims are going to join for the betterment of the United States. Because I'm sure Mamdani's saying the same thing, right? But on the left, we're going to join together, you know, we're going to have the lukewarm Christians and the Catholics who are for LGBTQ. We're all going to come together. Do you find that a scary position when you start to integrate all religions together? Could that be a very dangerous thing? I mean, I have my opinion, but for you guys, just something to think about when you, for the betterment of the United States, right? Because that's what everything's going to be painted as or for the betterment of the United States, for us to get together, because us as Americans, and I know this to be true, us as Americans, we want unity. We want peace. We don't like what's going on because there's so much conflict going on. There's so much chaos. There's rumors of wars. There's wars going on. There's people fighting in the streets because they're Republican, because they like MAGA, because they like ICE, because they don't like ICE, because they like COVID, they like masks. We don't like COVID. We don't like masks. Epstein, pro-Epstein, minus Epstein, who's Epstein, Trump's Epstein, Democrats are Epstein. There's so much chaos, right? So much just boiling. It's all just boiling at the top, right? And so let's just all come together. Your religion, my religion, your belief, your faith. Let's make this work together, you guys. A little bit of Muslim, a little bit of Christianity, a little bit of this, a little bit of Buddhism, a little bit of Judaism. Let's just make this work. I think it'd be great. And that's how we get our unity and our peace. And most people want that. I guarantee you, most people want that. Most people want everybody to get along. You want peace. But there's only one way to do the peace, right? There's only one way to do the peace, right? We'd have to come together with our Muslim brothers and our Buddhist brothers. And, speaking of the Buddhists, they're doing the walk across the country, and plenty of Christians are loving it because it's peaceful, right? It's kind. They're praying. And then we can even start to pray with Buddhists, or we can start to pray with Muslims because they are the peaceful Muslims. They're not the radical Muslims, because this is what we've heard. This is what's been implanted in our minds, is that there's radical Muslims, and then there's soft and peaceful and loving, kind Muslims. And then there's radical Christians, like those ones that stand on the street corners with bullhorns and they hold signs up. But nowadays we're okay with bullhorns on the streets, yelling at people or talking to people. But if it's Christians doing it, they're radical. And they have big, bold signs, and that's scary, and they're yelling at people, anybody who passes, but they're actually saying repent or perish. They're actually saying if you don't turn, you're going to hell. But we other people, as long as we're patriots, as long as we're shouting for Trump and we love Trump, then it's okay to be on a bullhorn. Because I remember personally my own self, 10 years ago, if you're on a street corner with a bullhorn, Christians also don't like you. So it's just weird now where we're at in times. It's confusing. It's confusing, and you need to be aware. You need to be alert. You need to be watchful. You need to be mindful. You need to know what you're doing. And I guarantee it, if we're talking about peace, was it strength through peace or peace through strength? I guarantee it. Patriots, conservatives, Republicans, the MAGA movement want peace, want unity. How do you accomplish unity with differences? You have to bring it together. And trust me, patriots, we talk about it all the time. I don't care where you're at. As long as we are conservative, as long as we're on the same boat, as long as we're on the same playing field, as long as we like Trump, as long as we're conservative, I don't care about what faith you are, what religion you are. Because really at the end of the day, honestly, serving Jesus Christ, being with Jesus Christ is secondary in our society. Politics are first, then comes your faith. And I promise you that. And I watch it, I see it. I see it. It's so true. It's a political Christianity thing that's being done, and it's being done intentionally and on purpose. It's being done intentionally, and I know this because many people who I care about, I love, who are Christians, are asleep and they're not watchmen. They're not seeing the writing on the wall. Some are watching it from a distance. Some are starting to question things and be like, this don't seem right. But a lot don't get it. And it's being blunt. And the scriptures actually talk about that. The scriptures actually talked about how, even if possible, the very elect will be deceived. So is it possible for the elect to be deceived? Yes. If it was possible, look, Judas was deceived. And he was walking hand in hand, eating at the dinner table with Jesus Christ. Even he was deceived. Somebody who actually walked right next to the dude, like in flesh, shaking hands, talking to him verbally, like one-on-one. Mano y mano. Even he was deceived and saw. That's why scriptures talk about blessed are those who believe without seeing. So if he could be deceived, what makes us think that we couldn't be deceived, especially if we're not even aware of how things will unfold and what could be used? Judas was right next to the man, looking in his eyes, eating, walking, sleeping with him, and was still deceived. Was still deceived. He was still afraid, still scared. Hey, if they know I'm with him, I might die. We as Americans, with what is going on in our society, in our world, and everything that's bombarding us day after day, could easily be deceived. And if you know how things are supposed to play out, there is going to be someone who brings peace and brings people together. That includes Christians being together at peace with Islam. That's what it means. There will be someone who brings peace through all this chaos, through all this turmoil, through all the rumors of wars happening, not happening. There will be someone who steps on the scene, steps on the stage, and kind of brings this stuff together. That we are now working with Islam and and the Saudis and Arabs, and we're working with China, and we're working with Russia, and we're getting along. It will happen. It will happen. And before I wish I could show you guys, and I can't. I was watching a live stream earlier tonight, and what came across this live stream, someone's comment, and okay, this is going to, and I'm telling you, and this is what the left says about us. This is exactly why, okay? Not to say that they're right, but this is why. So in partly they are right. This is why the left says what they say about us. And I'm reading this to you. And I promise you, right? I screenshot it. These people need an exorcism. We rebuke you in the name. Go ahead, I'll let you guys finish. I'll let you guys say it. I want to see what you guys say, what this person said. We rebuke you in the name of what? In the name of. It floored me. I could not believe it when I saw this comment. And it wasn't like a laugh. It was a exclamation mark. It was a straight exclamation mark. These people need an exorcism. We rebuke you in the name of. No, it was Allah. No. Nope, it wasn't Allah. Yeah, rebuke. It wasn't Allah. In the name of Christ. In the name of Christ. Jesus. Jesus. Power. Okay. These people need an exorcism. We rebuke you in the name of MAGA. I kid you not. I promise you the person wrote that. In the name of MAGA. But don't worry, MAGA is not a cult. Don't worry, people don't worship Trump. That's just somebody liking Trump. That's all that. I promise you, in the name of MAGA. And this, so you have this wide, huge range of conservatives. Guarantee it, more than likely, the person would probably say that they're Christian. More than likely, would probably say that they're Christian. They believe in God. I don't know. I'm just saying more than likely, because don't all MAGA really believe in God? That's why I said the God word means absolutely nothing. I'm not lying about. I'm not lying about it. I will post it, and I'll take off the person's name. I'll post it, and so you guys can see it yourself. Was it a joke? I don't know. They didn't put like a laughy. There's no smiley face. There's no LOL. Could have been a troll. Yeah, it could be a troll as well, right? Could be a troll because when people even on mine, there could be people on here that I don't know. I mean, you get so many people watching your stuff and people commenting. It could be a troll, no doubt, right? Let's play with the maggot. This is how we think anyway. But nonetheless, it was said. So, and to be honest, there's a large amount of people that don't think old boy can do any wrong. I mean, just to be honest, I mean, right? I mean, you go to say things and even talk about something scripturally or Bible or what's to come, what could be happening, how he could possibly be being used. It's like, oh no, how dare you? You're not a patriot no more. And that's part of the rift, which is, I'm fine with it. And I've said this many times before, because here's the thing. The scriptures and the Bible talks about how narrow the road is, how actually narrow the road is. So if the road is narrow, do you really think 80 million people is really narrow? And that's just in this time frame, right? That's just in this, 20, 24, 25 season, right? Of 80 million people, or 2020. Well, let's narrow that down even more. So yeah, you're going to have infighting. You're going to have more and more chip away because the road gets narrow and narrow and narrower and smaller and smaller and smaller. And we're not even talking about throughout the course of time, 2,000 years, 4,000 years. We're talking about this, so you use all these type of things. Think about the scripture. Narrow is the way, narrow is the path. Few who find it. Wide is this way. Well, it has to be very narrow, you guys. It has to be very, very narrow, right? So that's just something to think about. And then what was funny, though, what I did notice about Mamdani, right? And here's the thing. They did this with Elon, right? Do you remember when Trump got elected and Elon was on stage and everybody's like talking about how he's autistic or whatever he is? And he did his whole, go ahead and freeze frame it, right? Get my screenshot right now. So you guys, right? Get it right now. There. My whole, get it. Make sure you guys got that. Okay, perfect. So remember he did all that? Well, and the left went nuts, right? Because if you do that, that automatically means you're racist. So, clip it, do whatever you guys want to do. But no one wants to say anything about, and I'm sure they don't. They don't want to say nothing about when this happens. Whoa, what just happened? No way. You're kidding me. He did it. He did it. No outcry. No one's upset. No one's saying nothing. No one's saying Hail Hitler. No one's saying Mamdani. He's racist. He was just waving. That's what he was doing. He was just waving, and he didn't have the facial expression with it, so it wasn't really a hatred type of wave. Same motion, same exact movement, same exact thing from the heart. I guess he probably should have put the grunt behind it, and made it a little bit more aggressive, and then it could have been he's racist, possibly, right? Because I'm, as a brown person, I'm called racist, even though I think that's my first time probably even doing it. I don't know. But I'm called racist. So, yeah, I just thought that was funny when I saw that. Like, oh, he actually did it. He actually did what Elon did, and no one's saying nothing. Imagine that. So, speaking of backtracking a little bit to the, Muslim and their belief and what kind of their goal is, let me show you guys this. Let me show you this. Now, I can't completely see everything here. Let me try and make it a little bit bigger. So maybe we can kind of see where we're at. The Islamic doomsday clock. So establish Sharia law. Target an open democratic society. Begin mass migration from Islamic countries. Random terror attacks begin to happen. Create Muslim enslaves in the largest towns. Demand special privileges. Infiltrate councils and target seats in government. Well, sounds like we're moving right along. Was it assert dominance with tactics like street praying? Well, yeah, I think we're moving right along, you guys. Create a party of Islam in the democracy. Is that happening? Probably. Use Islamophobia laws to suppress free speech. Islamic terror attacks increase. Provoke a civil war in host nation. I'm not saying this is true. This is something I saw. Wanted to share it. Everything on there is kind of accurate, kind of maybe. What hour do you guys think that we're in? If I was to say that we are going off this, and there was a particular hour, I would say we're probably around in between the 8 to 10 hours. So maybe around 9-ish, possibly. Would that be fair? Do you guys think that? What do you guys think about that? Where do you think we're at in regards to that? Where do you think we're at? And see, even with Islam, that's a spiritual thing. That's a spiritual fight. Yeah, it could be some physical, but that's a spiritual fight. So and here's the thing about it don't seem like a lot of people know how to move in a spiritual sense when it comes to these things. And I'll show you a little bit what I mean later. It don't seem like it. Like people know how to move. But anyway, maybe it's practice. Maybe it takes more doing these type of things in order for that to happen. Do you think the United States is on that calendar? Yes. Because they don't like the West, right? Because the West, trust me, the West is definitely infidels. The West is definitely infidels. So Muslims, real Muslims. I'm not talking about American Muslims. Real Muslims do not like the West. Laura Loves America, thank you for the $10 super chat. So what can we do to fight against it and win the spiritual war? Well, the thing about a spiritual war is like you got to obviously first be prayed up. It's kind of like when you're just dealing with people in general. Because everything, especially in the open air and everything, every single interaction with someone is a spiritual thing. Every single interaction with people is a spiritual thing. There's nothing that's not spiritual because we are spirit beings, right? We are spirit beings. We're either of this spirit or that spirit, right? There's no I'm just free floating around. If you're free floating around, well, then you're of that spirit over there, right? That's just what it is. We are spirit beings. The breath of life was breathed into us. Like we're spirit beings. And so how you relate, how you deal with people who are passing, especially in open square, when you have this type of climate that's taking place in America, and we see it just nonstop. On nonstop dealing with people, the hostility of different groups, differences of opinions, thoughts, ways, what we should do, what we shouldn't do. Everything is like it's spiritual. And that's why I was telling you guys at the very beginning. That's why what happened the other night with me talking to Leilani, it took me out. Most people would say, well, that was just a regular conversation. Well, yeah, it was a regular conversation, but it was a spiritual conversation because I'm presenting Bible. She's challenging almost everything with the Bible because of where she's been at in life, which spirits are attached to that. As you heard her say, well, my mom was this, my dad was that. Who knows about her upbringing? Dad was an atheist, mom was this. I came to a point, I'm like, whoa, all these type of things are spiritual things, which has built her to where she's at 19 years old. Her experiences in life, the difficulties, the challenges, the hurts, the disappointments, the fears, the abuse, all these type of things are spirits being attached. Just like when you read in scripture, the fruits of Christ and the fruits of the Spirit is joy, happiness, peace, yada, 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 things that are of righteousness. Well, if you're not of that, then you have other spirits that are attached. So every interaction that you have with people in some form or way is going to be a spiritual type of thing. That's not saying that every conversation, if you say hi to someone says hi to you back, that don't mean it's a spiritual conversation, right? But I'm talking about when rubber meets the road and you start to dig, you start to have conversations, people start to get offended, people start to be like, whoa, what are you saying? Tone of voices, what's coming out of a person, what do you hear from their heart? That's where the battle starts to go. And most people who are within politically charged climates don't know how to do that. They haven't been equipped, or they're not trained, or that's not even their passion. It might not even be their passion. Their passion could be Trump. Their passion could be Venezuela. Who cares about what Trump's doing? My passion's Venezuela, or my passion's the children, right? The hurt children. I care about the children, and that's all they can see. And it's hard for them to see something else, right? So that's some of it. So how do you fix it? It's really nothing that you or me or somebody else can fix, because again, this goes back to scripture. What's God's will? That's why it's only a person at a time, right? Leave the 91 and get to the one. It's seeds, it's planting seeds. Just like the other night with the black girl that came up to me, Krusty, I forget his whole tag name on X, but he broke down the wall. So that was a seed there that was planted. I did another seed, or even watered the seed that he did, and poured out more. And she's like, oh, I thought, wow, you're really different than what I thought. So that was more of a watering of the seed that was already planted from him. And of course, then she goes back across the street, and more than likely the devil comes along and starts to pluck up what was, watered. And all these type of things, right? Circle of life, if you want to say, right? But things just keep moving. So that's where these type of things can be exhausting, right? Because that's what happened with her. She leaves me. She goes back across the street in front of the driveway. Who knows the conversation she had? I did hear that she had another conversation later that night with Raw Tactic, and it was good. Laura Loves America. I heard someone in a space recently as well cry over their love for Trump, and I was at home listening to this, and my mouth dropped. Like, the lady was actually crying for Trump. I need to watch Ocean's interview with her. He told me that he was releasing it, and supposedly she maybe said my name in it. I don't know, but I need to watch it. So hopefully that answers your question, Laura Loves America. Hopefully that answers that question. I don't know if I did a good job. I probably more explained it than answering it. Yeah. So here's. Yes, it's great. I'll listen to it. So on Christmas we have this airstrikes on Nigeria, and now today, this morning, we have Venezuela. And of course, everybody has their opinions on Venezuela and what's going on and this and that. And I have mine, right? I have mine, and I don't really like to get into. I don't really want to get into my opinions. I think it's bigger than what we think it is. But there's some interesting things to take away from it. For one, the whole dictator thing, right? He was a dictator, right? We know that he was a dictator. What's funny about that, and whether you think he's a dictator or not, most people think he was a dictator. But here's the thing: what's funny about it is the left are not complaining about him being a dictator. But if it's Trump, they care about Trump being a dictator. Okay, why? So why do they care about Trump being a dictator and they're not complaining about him being a dictator? Good question, right? So then again, me being me, you have to ask yourself why. Could it be the reason why they care about if Trump is a dictator because we live here in America and they don't want to see a dictator? Because here's the one thing about the left, which I do and I can't agree. And I've seen some people talk about this. Putting ourselves in other countries. And yes, they do deflect, of course, that. And I'm not saying that they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying in some aspect, I can see what they're saying. So this could be why they say, well, we care about Trump being a dictator because this is our country, right? This is our country, and we don't want no king. We don't want no dictator. And I don't care about that country because we shouldn't be involved in that country. Okay, fine. Well, if you say that we shouldn't be involved in that country, then why do you want to say free Palestine? You see, so that's the thing about with the left. It's like right when they start to sound like they're making some sense, it's like, well, wait, let's keep it consistent. You want to free Palestine and be involved with free Palestine, but you don't care that this person over here is a dictator who's in Venezuela? You don't care about that? Well, why don't you care about that, but you care about Palestine and you want America to get involved in that issue? Like free Palestine, like you want America to go free Palestine, you want Trump to do something, but you don't want Trump to do something about dictatorship over here, but you don't want him to be a dictatorship. So are you okay with dictatorship over here? You see the confusing mess with that the left is in? It's just they're all over the place, and I could respect it more if they say, yeah, we shouldn't be involved in any of it. We shouldn't, as United States, and this is more my opinion where I've grown through the years, I don't think we should be involved in any of these things, because at the end of the day, the more I look at stuff and the more I grow, the more I see that all nations, including America, want power. Presidents included, leaders included, everybody wants power. The more land I have, the more assets I have, the more money I have, the more power I have, the more I'm the boss, the more I'm in control. And I see that happening more and more when I look at stuff. Now, at the same time, is there other stuff behind it? Yes, people are liberated, right? Because we don't have a dictator running our country, right? So they're liberated. I can see that. I can see that how they feel liberated. But there's all these other things and you have to ask why. And if you don't ask why, if we just go off the narratives of the left or we go off the narratives of the right and we believe the narratives of the right or we believe the narratives of the left, we get into these channels, into these paths, into these lanes, this is what I believe and I can't see nothing else. There's no questioning because you're like this is it. And yes, there needs to be that in life. There needs to be a foundation. Like there needs to be that box or that lane, that travel lane that you're in, and you're not going this way and that way. You're not being tossed to and fro. But there's a lot to all this type of stuff. There's a lot to it because what I saw off of video, at least, it didn't look like a little, let's go capture this dude in the middle of the night as a stealth operation. Now, I mean, bombs were dropping. Okay, I'm just saying bombs were dropping. Now, is that an act of war? I don't know. You would think it's war, right? You would think it's war. Or at least, hey, I mean, put it this way. Let's just say this. If another country, right? Because here's the thing. We always say, well, we were in collaboration with Nigeria. We were in collaboration with Venezuela. Okay. Well, let's say Russia teams up with China in collaboration and they want to just, for whatever reason, right? It could be something that we don't know about. And they decide to bring some planes over here and bomb. Does that mean war? Well, for us, I'm pretty sure that we're going to say it's war. I'm pretty sure we're going to say it's war. So how do we know that these other countries aren't going to say it's war? Yeah, we may not be saying it's war, correct? We might not be saying it's war. But could these other countries be saying it's war? They could. I mean, like I just gave a perfect scenario. If someone came and did that on our Pearl Harbor, right? They came out of nowhere. And they probably had whatever reasons, their own excuses, right? That they wanted to bomb America's soil, make an attack on America's soil. And when they did that, we said it was war. Okay, we're going to war. So could it be the same way for these other countries? That's all I'm saying. Is it a possibility that they might consider, well, what just happened, that's war. We are going to war. Okay. Here's other situations about the voting. How is this stuff tied into Biden? A lot of people are saying yes, right? We're saying yes. It's tied into Biden. It's tied into voting machines. It's tied into this. I don't think it has to do with drugs. I really don't. I don't think it has to do with drugs because the war on drugs, I think we're a part of it as America, as United States, as government. I think we're a part of it. I don't care. We've dropped bombs in a boat traveling in the ocean and we drop a bomb. I don't buy that we're against the cartel. I don't buy that whatsoever. No. We've brought drugs into America, into our streets, into the neighborhoods. Back in the 80s, we were bringing drugs into the ghettos, into the black neighborhoods. I do not think we are against the drug industry and the smuggling of drugs across our borders and the cartel. I actually personally believe that we probably have a relationship with the cartels more than that we're against the cartels. That's what I believe. Is a conspiracy? Could be conspiracy. It's just I just kind of believe that. I believe there's more of a relationship when it comes to cartel in America and government than we're actually against it because we've been fighting the war on drugs. How long? How long? Like for real, it's like a long time, right? Like a long time. Other countries help no one. Yeah, you're right. Other countries help no one. But guess what? We're the superpower. And we want to be the superpower, right? So if you want to be the superpower, how do you stay in power? By being the boss, by being the big one, right? And I'm not like I'm not making a stink. I'm not upset about Venezuela. For me, I'm saying across the board, I don't think we need to be involved in every single thing. And then and here and then I saw today also that Benny Netanyahu was applauding what Trump did. So now we're having everybody's involved with everybody. Like, why is that a big deal if Netanyahu, Israel, is in support of us doing a strike on Venezuela? Like, dude, is that who we get approval from? Is that who we're looking like? All these type of things are, and that's the only person that was highlighted, right? That I saw was Netanyahu was applauding or praising Trump for what he did. And then do we think about this? Did you see the pictures of him coming off the plane? Like it was a production. It seemed like a production. Him coming off the plane, being escorted into jail, and he's looking. Why don't we think? Let's think, please. At least ask questions. At least have the thoughts. So we see this picture of him on the battleship or whatever he was on in this gray suit, Nike suit. More than likely that he was in, right? He gets off the plane. He's walking through the jail with the, what was it, DHS carpet laid out like a production with different clothes on. With different, like seriously, with different clothes on. He's a prisoner, a dictator, a criminal, drugs, and again, I'm not in this level, so I don't know. But why do we switch clothes for him? And then I'm just saying, I ask these type of questions, like why? Like, what was it? Like, was this really real? Like, is this what we're doing? The whole plane ride, we're showing it, going to jail. He's cuffed, walking with these people with the, I don't get it. How come you and I can't change clothes and be looking like that when we go to basic jail, like just basic city jail? This dude's going to like federal stuff or whatever it is, and he's being suited up to walk into where did he go to the cell? Like seriously, the world will beg for a king before it's over. You are exactly right. Even though they say they don't want a king, they're going to be begging for a king, just like Trump's our daddy. Real talk. And this is how we fall into these type of things that are talked about in scripture. We take them as a joke. We take them lighthearted. Oh, it's just fun and games. But it's actually kind of serious. Yeah, if that's being arrested, I wouldn't be scared either. I mean, I think the dude it looked like it was new clothes, like compared to the first picture. The first picture was probably like pajama looking sweatpants maybe he's sleeping in. And if it was in the middle of the night, maybe he wasn't sleeping in nothing. And I've known friends who were the FBI, the feds came to their house in the middle of the night who were J6ers. And guess what? They sure didn't get to put any clothes on. They had to come out halfway butt naked out their house onto their front yard. Halfway naked. By the feds. And this is bigger than the feds, isn't it? Isn't that what just happened with this dude bigger than the feds? Now, maybe he did have clothes on, but from what it looked like the attack or the strikes were at night when they got him. Was he really dressed? I don't know. I mean, yeah, he could have been, but he also could not have been. But more than likely, if you sleep in, most people don't really sleep in sweatpants and a whole sweatsuit. More than likely, if he was sleeping. And then you get to change clothes somewhere in between this 8-hour plane ride or whatever's going on. You get to change clothes because that wasn't prison or jail clothes. But then if there was a mass shooter, and we caught him, he'd have to put on jail scrubs. If we caught a mass shooter, he'd have to put on jail scrubs, and we would escort him shackled. I'm just saying, these are the type of things that make me think. These are the type of things that scratch my head, like what is really real nowadays. So with that said, you have the left that is going nuts. And now even more to think about, okay? Here's more to think about. And Oreo hit me up earlier, and I asked him the same question, and I said no. And he said to me, he said to me, because I asked him a question about this particular thing. And I'll tell you what I asked him. And he actually said to me, he said they organize and have, okay, basically he said we could do the same thing if we had structure instead of infighting. I said no. So what am I referring to? This stuff happened, what time did this happen this morning that Trump pulled the plug, was watching from Mar-a-Lago? I was at the gym. So this must have been 6 o'clock, 6 a.m.-ish our time. Okay, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. our time. And someone should really, after what I saw today, someone should really do some hardcore truth-telling investigation, including the White House or whoever. Okay? Yeah, that's a good point. ISIS didn't get arrested for killing Christians. That's what I say. So much stuff is weird. Okay, so 3 a.m. I don't know if that was our time, what time that was, but I saw that at 6 a.m. Even if it was at 3 a.m., even makes it more worse because people are sleeping for the most part, right? There was a nationwide protest. Nationwide protest once again. Okay? Can we really stop and think about that for a minute? It was nationwide protest. And I'm not talking about just 10 people. I'm talking about nationwide protests of easily more than 50 people, which were probably about the size of the crowd that was at the Oregon Capitol today off of a event that was talked about for 5 days. 5 days, the event was probably talked about. Do you understand what I'm saying and the significance of these type of things? Within 6 hours, the same exact flyer, probably for every state, was put out there with the same exact color, font, but just had a different location based off the city. Okay? That's for one. Nationwide, you guys. Nationwide. So how many people nationwide participated in these protests today? Nationwide. There was 2 in Idaho. Okay? 2 in Idaho. Nationwide, within 6 hours of this thing happening, a flyer that is the same flyer for across the board on platforms. Not only that, now here's the real kicker. Okay? How is this done? Professional banners that are made. That's just banners. I'm not talking about, and then you have the signs that people are holding with the same thing that's on the media platforms. You have the signs. You have banners, like 10 feet long banners about Venezuela with the same logo. How is this stuff getting done within a 6-hour period of time across the nation? I'm not talking about one city. I'm not talking about just like Portland, Oregon, or another city in Idaho, or one city across the nation. You had protests with the same banners across. There's no shipping, right? There's no shipping. We're not talking about Amazon getting an order. We're not talking about printable, printified, or this or that. We're talking about banners, signs. Okay, so if it's pre-planned, how would it be pre-planned if this was a surprise attack on Venezuela? How would it be pre-planned? It couldn't be. How would that be pre-planned? How would these protests be pre-planned? How would they even know? How would they have the words? And how do you mobilize? And this is something that the right doesn't do, or doesn't know how to do, and possibly is even afraid to do. Afraid to do it. And the reason why people are afraid to do it, here's even the better thing. Because like I said, something that was talked about and shared in Oregon for a week couldn't even get 100 people, 200 people. Let's say 200 people. Couldn't even get 200 people. That was talked about for a week. It couldn't even get 200 people. It was talked about for 5 days. These people did something for 6 hours. 6 o'clock. I'm talking about 6 in the morning. I'm at the gym about 7. I'm dealing with some stuff in the morning with people that were talking about the situation. It's on the news. I start to see flyers about protest at 9 a.m. And it's simultaneously across the board. Like that's okay. So we keep saying Soros, which is okay. Let's just run with Soros. Let's run with Soros. That's fine. It's Soros money, Soros this, Soros that. Are we saying we don't have anybody within the conservative Republican movement who has Soros money? I guarantee you that there's people that have Soros money within the conservative Republican movement. Guarantee it. But I don't think that's what it is. That's why I say it has to be deeper. When you have things that are someone just said it, pre-graphics, things are already made up, words that are already made up simultaneously across this nation. Is it pre-planned? I mean, you have to seriously think, at least ask the questions. How is that possible? And I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb when it comes to this and I don't know. And it actually can happen fairly easy. Maybe it can, and I'm just not getting it. I saw ads in my city on Craigslist that were recruiting protesters and the pay was decent. It's deep state. Well, even if it's deep state, still, how do you get that across the nation in a matter of 6 hours? How do you get that across the nation in a matter of 6 hours? Like, how? How do you get them made, all this stuff made within 6 hours of time? So the banners had a website, and this is what I'm trying to say. Some of this type of stuff needs to be investigated on a big level. On a big level, it needs to be investigated. Like, how is this type of stuff really happening? It's easy to throw out the elite, Soros money, this and that. Okay, fine. It's their money. But again, we're talking about Venezuela hits the news at 6 a.m.-ish, right? It hits the news. And I'm talking about, this is West Coast time. So 9 a.m. East Coast. It's hitting the news. Trump has the press conference at 11 a.m.-ish, right? 11 a.m.-ish, East Coast time. They're protesting in Minneapolis, Minnesota at 3 p.m. with banners, the same banners that are in Portland, same stuff that's in New York. Right. They have the ground game, something that conservatives, Republicans, we all say that we don't do. We have jobs. It's a Saturday, you guys. It's a Saturday, and again, 50 people show up at the Portland or Oregon Capitol. It's a Saturday, and guess who? Just once again, I love it because I've been saying this for 5 years, and it's just I just laugh about it every single time because I hear patriots. Oh yeah, we're about it. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. We're gonna be against it, and I just laugh. I seriously laugh because, like I said, this thing that they had at the Capitol that people were wanting to try to make it nationwide. Didn't go nationwide, got 50 people at the Oregon Capitol, and this thing happens overnight. Within 6 hours, it's across the nation. And conservatives are always like, well, I can't do it. I got a job. It's a Saturday, and guess who? And if you guys are going to tell me that the left don't have jobs, then you're really smoking something, and you really need to get a reality check because the left they have jobs. They have jobs. These people, they work. Liberals, I hate to break you guys' bubble, but liberals do work. Liberals actually do work. Believe it or not. I know it's hard to believe, but they work. So we can't say, well, we have jobs. Well, they have jobs too. It's just that they might believe in their cause and their purpose a little bit more than we do. How about we eat crow a little bit and regroup and refocus and say, okay, yeah, we need to be more active. I'm not saying that would do it because if you don't have the funds, if you don't have the power person behind it, which I think the conservatives and Republicans do have it, I think they do have power people behind them. There's people within AmFest. How much money does Turning Point get? Do you want to see their sponsors again? I posted it on X. Facebook was a sponsor. TikTok was a sponsor. Just saying. I'm just saying if we're running with the rumor that, the left has money, they have Soros money, they have this money, okay, fine. Well, I know that the right has money too. The right has money. It's not cheap to go to Mar-a-Lago to wine and dine on New Year's Eve with Trump. That's not cheap. The right has money. Don't think that the right don't have money. You have people that have made a great living, a wonderful living off of YouTube. Me, not one of them. But there's people that have made a great living off of just YouTube. That's just one platform. The right has money. Okay? So why can't it happen for the right like it does for the left? Because maybe we don't really believe in it as much as we think we do. I don't know. There's some sort of reason. But but the way they mobilize is crazy. It's absolutely nuts. I'll say this, and it's hats off to the left because they're very good at what they do. You guys, most people knock them. I don't knock them in regards to this because they're good at what they do. They do put conservatives to shame. They do. they do, and they have, right? They have. That's being honest. Today was a perfect example, right? This thing happens. They come together because one, obviously they don't like Trump, right? They mobilize very easy. They're serious about mobilization. They come into agreement with the message, and they pass out. They pass out. They come. Just show up. We will provide what you need. Just show up. And they put it out there this time, and people show up. And then and here's the thing. Then we get mad off of their peaceful protest. We get mad. We get mad off of their peaceful protest. We get mad that they mobilized. We get mad that they have the numbers. We get mad that they're marching the street which isn't necessarily breaking the law, which we could do too if we had 5,000 people, but we can't ever do that because we work, right? We get mad that they're on the sidewalk. We get mad that they're against Trump. Again, we could do each and every single one of these things that they do. We just choose not to. We just choose not to. And I say peaceful, meaning they march in the street. I don't see them bother anybody unless maybe they're bothered. Then they might. And I'm talking about right now, right? Meaning like today. Right? They're on sidewalks, but if they're in streets, we get mad. If they're on sidewalks, we get mad. Okay, so which one is it? We either want them on the sidewalks so people can drive. Okay, so if they're on the sidewalks, then let's not get mad that they're on the sidewalks. Or we want them in the street. Well, if they're in the street, now we're mad and we need to show up and get out the street, you stupid lefty, you stupid liberal, da, 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 da. And I get it. Their mindsets, a lot of them are out there. A lot of them are different, right? No doubt. No doubt. It's crazy. And then you have, and I don't know, obviously in Portland, there was attacks today. And you can't, and here's the thing with the left, and I don't know why it's like this. And partly, partly, how do you, what do you do in these situations? So, do you defend yourself? Yes, you have to defend yourself when violence occurs. When you're going to be assaulted, you have to defend yourself. When you go to the protest, when you go out to the open square, you have to know what you're walking into. You have to know what you're walking into. When street preachers go to street preach, they go with a message. When Charlie Kirk went to colleges or wherever he went to the public square and talked to people, he already was aware of what could happen, how people could act, or how people could react. He was already aware of that. He already knew that. All right, he already knew that. Which means when you go to enemy territory, because a protest, them in the left marching, the left standing in front of ICE, the left standing wherever they're standing, that's, for us, if you want to say, that's enemy territory. That's enemy territory. So there's two things. You either go in, guns blazing, and we're gonna fight, right? That's just because there's not a middle ground. There's not an in between. There's not an in between. There's not a well, I'm going there to fight, but not fight. There's not a, well, I'm going there not to fight, but will fight. Right? There's not this weird gray area. And if you know the left, if you know these people, they're godless people, right? So now it's definitely a more spiritual thing. So if you go in carnality, you're going to be met with carnality. If you go in carnality to these protests, you're going to be met with carnality mindsets. Because you're not going in a spiritual way. You're going there because, oh, I might want to fight. We might fight. And it can be bad. It can be bad, and people can get hurt. I don't think people should get attacked off of words. I don't think people should get attacked off of words. Okay? But again, like what I'm saying, if your words are carnality, then you're doing a fight in carnality. You're doing a fight in carnality. These people, okay, the left, okay, so here's a good example. The left, they protest out of carnality. That's what every single protest that the left does, they protest out of carnality. So if they're protesting out of carnality, how do we need to show up? How should we show up? Because if we don't show up in the right way, then we're showing up just like them. And then who's at fault? Who's at fault then if we're showing up the same way? Well, we can say, well, we're not showing up because we're not starting something. Our words can sound the same way. Just like okay. The Bible says there's life and power. Life or death in the power of the tongue. The tongue brings curses or it brings blessings. Life and death in the power of the tongue. The tongue can set a whole forest on fire. The tongue. So if the tongue in our mouth can do that, that's God. And we're saying Jesus. A lot of people are saying Jesus. We're saying God. I get it. We make mistakes. Okay, people make mistakes. And again, I'm not talking about being perfect. This isn't a perfect type of speech. We make mistakes. But mistakes are not an everyday occurrence. Life and death in the power of the tongue. So what we speak, we can set something on fire. We can blaze a trail with our tongue. The left is down there in carnality, so you show up in truth. You show up in truth. The left feeds the flesh, you show up in spirit. You don't show up in flesh. You show up in spirit. You show up in spirit and in truth. There are street preachers down there today. I don't know if they got attacked. I don't know. I can find out because I think I know the street preachers who were down there in Portland. And I could find out, actually. I don't know if they got attacked. Have they been attacked before? Yeah, they've been attacked before by being at the Saturday market when there's no protest going on. They've been attacked. And again, I'm not this isn't a condoning or a condemning anybody or anything, because nobody should be attacked by using speech. But I'm saying speech can trigger, and it's okay if people are triggered, because the right gets triggered. Conservatives get triggered. If we act like we don't, then I mean, we're lying right there. We get triggered off of the views that the left says. Okay, weak men, but what makes a strong man? There's the question. What makes a strong man? Because Jesus was strong. Jesus was very strong. What makes a strong man? The apostles were strong, and they died. They died. I remember when Stephen was getting stoned to death because of preaching Christ. Was he weak or was he strong? Was that a weak man? Self-control with integrity. Again, I look, I want to show you something. Here's a good example. Let me show you this, because I already have this stuff ready. The street preachers get attacked today. Here's the thing, you guys. I got videos I could put up. Of me being attacked or spit on or through food thrown, Southside Chicago preaching, under the tracks, subways up above. I actually just shared some of them with another journalist who was attacked today. And I'll show you. I actually shared them with him. So, but again, my stuff, I've gone with a different mission, and I believe the angry Oregonian spoke about it. My stuff has been Jesus-centered. I don't put anything that Trump or politics above that. All that stuff is like secondary. I could use it as triggering points, but it's secondary. I don't want to talk about that stuff, because the reason why we're even talking about that stuff, because Christ is not first. So let's put Christ first, and maybe all these other things possibly in our world wouldn't be happening. But the problem is Christ is not first in our world, so all these other things are above Christ, and so that's what we're focused on. That's what we're focused on, and that's what we're clashing: carnality of the left, carnality of the right. Boom, boom, boom. Nothing is being done. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what is happening. Carnality versus carnality. Carnality, don't believe in God. Carnality, oh, yes, we do believe in God, but the carnality still overpowers and comes first before God. That's what it is. That's 100% what it is. So today, Geyer Digital was walking.
What kind of world are we going to tolerate? Are we in a world of tolerate the world where we just steal other people's oil and resources?
Okay, real quick. Does that look peaceful? Because you guys are going to say that this is not peaceful, right? What makes it not peaceful? They're standing, at least in this view, at least in this picture, they're standing, right? How's that not peaceful? Is it not peaceful because they're protesting? Okay, so it's not. We don't like it. They're against Trump. They're crazy. They're lunatics. They're stupid. Okay, so but see, here's the situation. Here's what we're saying. They're peaceful until they see MAGA. We are the same way. We're peaceful until we see Antifa or a liberal. And then we want to give them attention and start talking to them and get out of here and things like that. It's the same way. It's the same on both sides. We can't say that. It's the same exact way on both sides. We're okay until they're okay until they see a MAGA, and then they're triggered. We're okay until we see somebody in a mask who looks liberal. And then we'll start to question him. Look at that. Look, there's Antifa's here. Antifa's here. Okay, so we talk but don't get physical. True but not true. We talk to provoke, to trigger, we don't talk to try to say, hey, how are you doing? You're welcome here. What's your thoughts? What's your opinions? We talk with authority, with like, we're watching you type. I mean, let's be honest. That's what we do. So anyway, so it's peaceful, right?
Organization, excuse me, this is a public sidewalk. I'd like to get through. Public sidewalk. I'd like to get through. Excuse me.
So him saying that, is there anything wrong? He's not saying nothing wrong. Yes, he's saying it out loud. He wants to get through. Let me walk through. It's a public sidewalk, which it is. They're not blocking the street, though, right? They're not blocking the street. They're not blocking anybody from moving up and down the street. It's busy on the sidewalk. Excuse me, let me get through. That's not insulting no one. It's not assaulting or insulting anybody. Is it loud? Yes. Is it being rude? No. Excuse me, let me get through. It's probably loud down there. There's probably things going on. Nothing wrong. Just walk, why yell? Yeah, that could be some of it. So,
Go fuck myself? Yeah, go fuck yourself. Go fuck myself? Yeah, go fuck yourself. Okay, I will. Go fuck yourself. Have a good night, brother. God bless you. Public sidewalk, excuse me. I'm trying to get through. It's a public sidewalk. Clear the way. Clear the way. Clear the way. It's a public sidewalk. Clear the way. No. Fuck you, bro. No, fuck you. I'm sorry. Hey, back the fuck up. That's all on camera, John. It's a public sidewalk. I'm trying to get through it. I just got punched in the face. Excuse me, public sidewalk. Public sidewalk. Public sidewalk. It's a public sidewalk. It's a public sidewalk. Public sidewalk, excuse me. You support. I just got punched in the face for walking on a public sidewalk. Sorry, the zipper got me. Some guy over there for saying.
okay, so again, he wasn't saying nothing wrong. So this is what I'm saying is like, I don't think being attacked over words, especially that wasn't insulting words, that wasn't demeaning words, it wasn't putting anybody down, it wasn't targeting anyone, and the person still got attacked. Completely wrong. It's not justified. Now people can say, well, and I saw some people, well, it was instigating. Yeah, it possibly could be instigating. Possibly not. But the instigation is kind of going to be dependent on who thinks is instigating and who doesn't. It's kind of like subjective. No, that wasn't Cam. But the point is, should he have been attacked and hit, bruised, for that kind of freedom of speech? Public sidewalk, please move. I'm trying to get through. Public sidewalk, move. I'm trying to get through. Public sidewalk. Same message over and over and over. Okay. Yes, that journalist decided to go to their demonstration, their protest, their rally, right? They decided to go there. When you go to these type of things, you have several different, again, going back, you have to think about what you're going into, plans, how you're going to act, what you're going to say, what you're not going to say, things like that. You have to think this type of stuff. So again, he should not have been attacked. By no means. By no means should he have been attacked, hit from behind, hit from the side, based off of that. He was just he was filming, he was documenting. Please let me through. I need to get, it is a crowded sidewalk. Could have been this, could have been that. Yes, there's always different things, like I said, that could have took place. But didn't need to be assaulted. No. Did not need to be assaulted whatsoever. So, and I'm sure a lot of people saw this situation, unfortunately, with Tommy that happened later. And I don't know. Tommy's not doing it. So they're starting to surround Tommy. So they started surrounding Tommy. So that's a threat within itself. They're already starting to surround Tommy. They're surrounding Tommy. I think this dude in the white pants and I don't know if I can go back. Let me see if I can go back. I don't know if I can go back. Hey, guy in the white, pay attention. So they start to surround Tommy. He walks up on him, slips. Tommy don't hit him. Start swinging at Tommy. And then, so in this situation, okay, what Tommy's saying, Trump, free Palestine. And let me be fair, like, I don't know what was going on prior to this or what was going on prior to the last video I showed, right? Because these are obviously clipped out of the live stream or out of more footage. But I will say this, the guy that is right there, it's the same guy who's been at ICE that's had a lot of verbal stuff to say to Tommy, and he had verbal stuff to say to me. So again, if we're saying that the verbal stuff is just okay to do, well, there's been a lot of verbal exchanges, which has probably in somehow led to this. So the verbal stuff has an effect. It does things. Yeah. Now he's swinging on Tommy. And other people are jumping in, right? And then somebody just sucker kick, this dude over here, sucker kicks Tommy. And what's good about this part, and I love Tommy for this, is it's dope, is the situation here happened, okay? And what's dope about it is that Tommy did not like sucker kick him or come punch him when the dude was bending over to pick up. I think he wears glasses. I think that might have been what the dude was picking up off the floor. That's a man who will not come and sucker punch when somebody's like, okay, you hit me, I'm picking up my stuff. Because if this would have been like a brawl or something like that, it could have been ugly. Like if the emotions of this type of thing could have been higher, when that dude bent over to pick up whatever he was picking up, Tommy backed up. But if this thing would have been ugly on an emotion type of level, that dude could have been who knows what could have happened when he was bent over to it, like laid out easily, a kick to the face or something as he's bent over. Tommy respected him enough for let the dude get his stuff. If the dude looked like he backed off, I don't know. You can't completely hear all the words that were exchanged, but the dude was the dude obviously was like, okay, I'm not going to fight you no more. Probably he got 3 racks to the head when he was bent over. I think Tommy was kind of on top of him and got 3 racks to the head. He's like, okay, well, I'm not going to fight. Picked up his stuff and kind of. Then there knows anything out there. Give his phone back.
Like that. Right to the middle of fucking road. Hey, don't be pussy again. Pussy. That's beautiful, by the way. You're worse. Don't call the cops. Keep threatening me, bro. They don't need to call the cops. Y'all fine. Yeah, you started to. You see me call the cops? Good. That's the way you're pushing. Not right now. You're pushing, Tommy.
So.
My shit to the front. You're scared.
Seems to be the only way to go to school. So the words and language and tone means a lot. It does. I mean, you know, it does. Because that dude there also, he's been down at ICE. He's been wanting to fight. He wants to fight. Why shame on Ocean Plot? Ocean Plot didn't do nothing. There's nothing to shame Ocean Plot for. He didn't do nothing. That dude's been down at ICE. He's been wanting to fight. So obviously words do trigger people. Words do provoke things. Words do have an effect. Okay, they do. And that has to, if we're going to be honest, it has to go that way for both sides. The words do instigate. You can either instigate or how, okay, if words don't instigate, then tell me how do you de-escalate something? Tell me how you de-escalate something. They've been luring Tommy into fights. But at the same time, if we're going to be fair, does Tommy lure them into fights? The thing is, you know, here's the thing. I'm going to call it for what it is, right? I'm going to call it for what it is, no matter who likes it or who don't like it. I've had one super chat tonight. One super chat. 0 anything else. One super chat. Why? Because I'm not fighting? Because I'm not drama? Is that why? I mean, I could go that route. I'm not swinging on people. I'm not hitting people. Would I defend myself? Yes. Would I defend somebody else who's breaking something up? Yes. Done it before. But one super chat. I'm not complaining. I can't say it's my full-time job. I'm not making money off of this. Right? But some people are being fed off of that. And somehow patriots like it. They love it. So why not do it more? So the black dude can instigate Tommy all night long at ICE by his words. And then when he sees him like he just saw him tonight away from ICE, then there's problems. Then there's problems. Okay? That's just being honest. And that's being honest by even saying that Tommy, his own self, has said it. He said it today to a black man who was working at Sizzle Pie when the black guy didn't want him to come into the business. Tommy, out of his own mouth on his own live stream, said, I make more than you make. Here, the black man is having a legit job working. He's working. I have a legit job working. And Tommy says to him, and the chat loves it, and probably gives him more money for it, which is fine. This is how whatever. Tommy says, I probably make more money than you make. I make more money than you make. So Tommy's making more money than he makes because everybody's liking the fighting. People we're going to give him money. He's saying trans women are men. Street Preacher's been saying that for 15 years, you guys. Longer than that. Longer than that. So I'm not saying something that Tommy hasn't already said. He says it, right? On his streams. Hey, this is what I'm doing for work. This is my money. Trans women are men. And he's making a living off of it. Like I said, one super chat tonight for having in-depth conversation. And that's that. I'll still continue to do it. So that guy that approached Tommy has been instigating at the ICE facility. And that's why I said, can it be the same way with Tommy? But yet people are liking it with Tommy, but if this black dude does it, they don't like it. Yes, I did get two. You're correct. Thank you. The black dude instigates with his words, provokes with his words. No one likes it. When Tommy provokes with his words, people like it. And they support. To be fair, the pizza guy yelled at Tommy to get a job. Okay. And he probably did. I think you're right. He probably did, right? He probably yelled at Tommy to get a job. Probably knowing that maybe Tommy don't have a job. Or maybe he doesn't know. So, in any event, the guy that has been down the ice, who has said some things to me as well, obviously more probably irritable or agitated at Tommy. I also where did it go? I also have encountered him back in August. No, not this year. August 8th, 2021. So, and just for the record, the people behind me are the boys. Watch how we are. Watch the conduct. Watch the interaction. All the boys right there.
There we go.
What the fuck's that then? Wait, that's a fucking
Look at the demeanor. It's tiny. That was tiny right there. That's the same guy that hit Tommy tonight. So, hold on just a second. That's the same guy that was on Tommy tonight, was that guy right there. God bless you, Quincy. God bless you, Quincy. Heart posture is different for you. And it is unfortunate people will support violence and you know how to get it. Yes, thank you for that P cut. Thank you for that super chat. But yes, people do support violence. Joe Hammer, keep on keeping on. Thank you, Joe Hammer. God bless you guys for the super chats. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys that. Again, let me go back because that was the same guy.
There we go. What the fuck's that then? That's a fucking bullshit. You mad about that? You mad about that? I'm mad about that. You're the one that nigga. You're the one that looked that nigga.
So he's talking about something that Tiny was wearing, which was probably the symbol. It was probably the symbol that Tiny was wearing, and he was mad about that. Like, what is that? What is that? F that? What is that? But the posture. I'm there for a reason. I'm there for a reason. The boys were right there with me. If you want to say FAFO, okay, but it's a defense. It's a defense. Let them talk. Let them talk. Because the words aren't even really going to mess with me, right? So that's how we stand. They get mad when the words happen, right? Just like this dude, but we're standing straight up. We're standing straight up. And that's how it was. But again, for me personally, this is my own personal thing. I go out there for a different reason. I'm not going out to yell for Trump. I'm not going out to yell for ICE. I'm not going out to yell for that they're stupid for being out in the cold and the rain, protesting and mad at whatever Trump's doing. I'm not doing that. Not to say that it's wrong if somebody else does that. If they want to do that, that's fine. I'm just saying for us not to get in trouble, we have to think about why we're doing stuff and how we're going to be doing stuff. That's what I'm saying. And to be honest, Tiny, honestly, guys, I'm just being real. Tiny didn't get a lot he didn't get paid like a lot. He wasn't making a living by being a defender, by protecting people. And Tiny was protecting people. He wasn't making a living off of it. He was in the movement. He was there for the cause. He didn't, man, Tiny. He used to come over for Bible studies too. Tiny did. Tiny would come over for Bible studies. Tiny and a lot of the PBs did. A lot of the PBs came over for Bible studies. Yeah, Jesus did turn over tables and yeah, he did. Tiny wasn't paid. Tiny is PB. Yeah. The guy that was in the guy that assaulted Tommy tonight is the same guy that was in this video I just showed you, and that was from 2021 August. So what? 4 years ago? 5 years ago? 5 years ago. So same actor. So that's more of the, if you want to say, getting closer to the area of Black Bloc, what you saw tonight with Tommy and that guy. That'd be getting to the lines of Black Bloc, that type of stuff. He's going to talk. He's going to talk. And see, here's the thing about this type of stuff, because I see, who just said that? Dark Moon 10,000. And this is how the infighting type of stuff happens. Because what I'm talking about right now isn't infighting. It's not me dissing Tommy. It's not me saying anything bad about Tommy. But people will run with this and say, well, BCP was talking about you. BCP was talking about you. That's not what I'm saying. Because I actually, if you want to say I was talking about Tommy, go ahead. Make sure you tell him how much I commended him when the dude was bent over. Do that. Because I'm not talking bad about Tommy. I'm just giving different perspectives about going to these situations. And I just showed you video of PBs who were standing with their posture. Okay, this is what will happen if this happens. Okay, that was all to the right of me. Yeah, and yeah, he has got the dude is a physical dude, right? He's he's untrustworthy, right? He's probably one of the violent ones, if you want to say, that's probably been at ICE. Yes, no doubt. And that's why I said the words exchanges between back and forth fuel fires. It fuels it. That's what I'm trying to say. It fuels fire, and that's why I say and that's why I said we gotta be fair. We gotta be honest. It's the same on both sides. The tongue fuels the flames. It's James chapter 3, verse 6. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. The tongue, you guys. So our words, what we say, that's what that's talking about. The tongue. That's what I'm talking about. It's a dark moon. That's what I was describing earlier. You said it's hard separating your feelings as an American and a Christian. It's only hard because we put the American stuff first. That's why it's hard. If we put Christ first, the American stuff second, it wouldn't be hard to separate the feelings because Christ would be first. But we put the American stuff, the American ways, the Constitution, our rights, our laws, we put that before Christ. So then that's what makes it hard when it comes down to these two different things that are very different. But that's what makes it hard, right? Because we're talking about our feelings versus America. Here's our feelings for America, and then we have Christianity. So what's making it hard? Those are the type of things that's making it hard. And again, I don't. This isn't a Tommy thing tonight. Please, I mean, I've been on here for now almost 2 hours. I've talked about a lot. This isn't a Tommy piece, and to really be honest with you guys, I'll pick up the phone and call Tommy and talk to him about it and probably show him that. So let's not try to get some things started that don't need to be started. Because I'll pick up the phone and call Tommy and say, hey, bro, like for reals. And I showed you another friend of mine as well. I showed you another friend of mine and we talked about that. So that I'm just saying for productivity and things, knowing your situation, knowing where you're going, it's kind of like what we always say all the time, know your enemy, right? So if you're knowing your enemy, know what you're going into, know how the possibilities of what could happen, possibilities of escape, where you're going, what I should do, again, like I said, what I heard on New Year's Eve at church, the why. Why am I going? Why am I saying this? Why this? Why that? Question these things before we just go out here and be in the flesh in a carnality state. And again, some of it could do, and Tommy has admitted this, that he knows he's getting fed from this. So you got a lot of you guys who love Tommy, you're in favor of him doing this, but why are you not out doing it? Why do you want him to fight your battle for you? Why aren't you out doing what he's doing? If you're the patriot, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier about the left, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you out on the streets like Tommy, like myself, like other people? Because the left is, from all ages, from 10 years old all the way up to 80, they're out. So why aren't you? Why are you wanting Tommy to take the hits? Why you sit back and watch? Why do you want Tommy to get hit? Why is it so fun for Tommy to be saying all this stuff? Why aren't you out saying it? Go in your own city and say it and do it. Go in your own city and do it. Tommy's in his own city. I'm in my own city. Why not? Tony for Freedom, thank you for the super chat received. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you. That's just being honest. Everybody wants to see Tommy and watch the drama and go, Tommy, why don't you do it? Yeah, everybody is called. Yes, yes, everybody is called to do it. If we're all saying we love America, we all want to stand up, everybody's called to do it. Do you think the left is called to do it? What makes us think that the left is called to do it? If we're going to say we're not everybody's called to do it, was everybody called just to watch? Are we just called to watch Tommy just do it? Everybody's called to do it. If it's America, if we all love the country that we claim we love and we want to save the land and save the country and these stupid politicians and change things, well, everybody's called to do it then. I mean, I would think. What makes us think that the left is called to do it? I love Jesus more than America myself, but I'm out. But that's why I go with the message I go with. It's a move to action. Yeah, it is a move to action. So everybody should be doing it. Everybody should be involved. But we watch a lot of people. The dude gets a lot of views for the stuff he's saying. But all the views and all the people who are watching are not doing it. And he's getting in trouble and possibly more and more in trouble. Who knows? He might be getting more trouble. Who's caring about him? Who's really caring about him? Well, here, Tommy, we're going to pay for this. We're going to pay for that. We're going to pay for this. We're going to pay for that. Bread and butter. Why do I need to stop? Until something bad happens to me, and then it's going to be sad. It's going to be sad. If something does. All behind, it's his job. It's his job. The reason people are paying is for entertainment, and their heart posture is not for the cause, especially if it is not directly affecting them. It's that simple. Thank you for that super chat, Picat, and I agree with you. I do agree with that. We need another Christian walk for Jesus. Yeah, well, they what's their faces? They do that. They didn't come to Portland this past year, but they do the Christian walks for Jesus, the March for Jesus. They do them. 5% of America. 5% of America is a lot. Yeah, you're right. 3% of America is a lot. 5% is a lot. That's why it's called 3%ers, because you can start with 3%. It's a lot. 3%. I did the math of Oregon. It was like the Oregon population was like 4 million something, and I did the math on it. Population 4 million. Okay, yeah. Let me see. Yeah. So about 4.3 million population. Times that by 3%, it's like 150,000 people. 150,000 patriots, conservatives can't show up anywhere in Oregon. And you wonder why nothing can get done. All it takes is 3%. to start something major. You have 100. You make an event in Oregon, and you get 150,000 people to show up. That's going to start something. But I guarantee it. You can probably get 60,000 to fill Austin Stadium to watch the Ducks and Beavers have a civil war. But you will not get 150,000 people to show up to make a change and make a difference. So, yeah. Like I said, there was a lot to talk about tonight. A lot. A lot to talk about. Oh, let me see. There was a PayPal that came through. Thank you, Irene. Thank you. Thank you for the PayPal. God bless you. If my people will repent, I will change their land. Amen. Yes. It begins with the church and Christians. It does. And the church and Christians they're not much different than the patriots. And that's why it's weird though, because I think the church and the whole patriot thing is kind of coming together. Somehow it's collabing together. And it's almost like a patriot Christianity type of thing. Because the Christians in the church do not take the lead on nothing. They don't take the lead. They wait for Trump or the politicians to take the lead instead of taking the lead. I prayed for Tommy's protection because he can't do it alone. No, he can't do it alone. Nobody can do it alone. Everybody needs a team. I mean, Jesus had a team, right? Jesus was perfect. Jesus still had a team. That's how we're and why we're where we're at today, because he had a team that continued to go into the world and preach the gospel. Correct. Jesus never preached patriotism. He did not. Correct. And that's part of our problem within the patriot movement is we say we're fighting good and evil, right? But yet when we talk about good and evil, we somehow throw in politics to this good and evil fight that we're in. And politics should be left out of the good and evil. It should be left out. But we say that the left is evil because why? It's not. We don't say most conservatives, Republicans don't say that the left is evil because they're against God. They say they're evil because of more of their political views against Trump. Oh, that's the left. You know, they're evil and they're wicked. Well, what makes them more wicked than the right? Because I know for a fact that the Republican Party is okay with abortion. I know for a fact that Trump also said he's okay with abortion. I know for a fact that Trump had the log, what's the faces? It's not Log County. Republicans. Log cabin Republicans at Mar-a-Lago. You guys know who the log cabin Republicans are? He had them at Mar-a-Lago. So, what makes the left more evil or dark than people on the right or the right? That question has to be asked. It has to be asked. The church is lukewarm. I agree. The church is very lukewarm. But you get a lukewarm church from not preaching a solid message. That's how you get a lukewarm church, from not preaching a solid message. But anyway, we have to have patriotism to keep our right to practice religion. It goes hand in hand. It's in the Constitution. Right. And that's what goes back to what I was saying earlier to kind of start this whole podcast about the freedom of religion, and then you have the Muslims going on because it's freedom of religion. Correct. and that's part of the Constitution, is the freedom of religion, which is why Muslims can come into this so-called land that we say is a Christian nation, because of freedom of religion. Or any other ethnic group or race or religion can come into America because it's freedom of religion. Right, I just, Tabitha says, I've just found satanic after-school programs in Illinois for elementary kids. Yes, and that's been going on in Portland for about 6 years. Freedom of religion. What do you do about that? This is what happens when you have freedom of religion in the Constitution. And then we were going to get mad about, hey, well, satanic church or after-school programs are in the school. Well, freedom of religion, isn't it? Seriously. I know, yeah, elementary kids, but it's still freedom of religion. I'm playing devil's advocate because of, like, what's the person up here who said that? Anthony, every day. That's why I said that. Freedom of religion. So, yeah, so regarding things coming up for me, DC, 5th year anniversary, guys, 5th year anniversary for J6. This week, 5 years. 5 years. That's gonna be emotional for me. That's gonna be one. I will be live streaming Tuesday night. They're having fireworks at the Washington Monument. 250-year anniversary birthday for America this year. So they're having fireworks at the monument. It ends it for this season. There'll be fireworks at night. So I'll be live streaming that. Then on the 6th, there's events that are planned. I will be live streaming that. Going forward, there's some things in February that I'd like to get to with the blessings and help of you guys. The monks would like to end up where they're at when they arrive, which I believe is DC. I'd like to get there a couple days before so that I could kind of follow them into DC type of thing. And then right after that, practically within a day, there's an event in Tampa, Florida. So those are 2 events. So I'd probably bounce from DC to Tampa, Florida, Lord willing, if I can. If obviously you guys help me get there to make that happen. So those are the 2 things I know of for sure. And then, if I can get down to Portland, if anything is going on, I'll definitely do that. Yeah. So that's what's on the plate. Hopefully that's what's on the plate. Lord willing, I can do these things, make them happen. And then again, if anything pops up, it'd be nice to have kind of like that cushion, like if there is emergency type of things that I could get to. It'd be nice. February 14th, I think. Yes, the monks are in our area in Georgia. Yes, and here's another thing, you guys. Please, if you guys have anything that you guys know of that's coming up in your area that might be worth it, let me know. Let my mods know or let me know. I can look into, see if I can get there, see if we can get there, make it happen. Or if you guys want to do video, if you guys want to shoot video, send it to me. If the monks are coming through your area, take video and send it to me. Just make sure you hold your phone in landscape mode like this. Oh yeah, that's cool. Transparent phone. But hold it like that. Do it that way. Yeah. So please send stuff to me. And you know, one thing about the Patriots, I love the zeal. I love these guys that come out, Tommy, all of them, because they're brave. They're standing up. They're brave. They know stuff, right? Even Tommy doing what he did today, he still knows, right? So they're brave enough to come out. They're brave enough to stand up for what they believe in, the cause. They're brave enough to stand against some of the things that, yes, are definitely evil. So major props to them for that. Major props for them being a group of 10 that go up against or stand against, right? Animosity, right? Angry, triggered people. Major props to that. Kudos to that. So I have nothing wrong with that. And my hats are off to that. Like, salute to that. I love it, you know, because I'm all about getting numbers out there. And I think the more numbers, the better. The more numbers, the better. Because we shouldn't be at home in Oregon or Portland and seeing things like that happen to Tommy or anybody, or Guy or Digital. I'm just saying, if we go to these type of things, we should go as a unit, as a force, and be like-minded about what we're going for exactly. That's all I'm saying. And then knowing how to handle ourselves, because when you get bombarded, you're going to go into fight mode and things like that. It's going to happen, right? You have more people, you're probably not going to go into fight mode. But you're by yourself, 10 people, you're probably going to go into fight mode because you're having to watch your back. It shouldn't be like that. Especially if we're going to do this whole, it's our America, we need to take it back, we need to make America great, we need this, we need that. Well, then when do people rise up? Because the left always rises up. The left always rises up. So, all right, you guys, let me get out of here. It's late, 2.5 hours almost. So, appreciate you guys. Love y'all. And like I said, Monday, be streaming live. So, I'll be looking for that. Should be a good time. So, thank you guys for the help. And you guys can continue to help. Like I said, I put wish lists up. It is updated from the fire that we had. So there's things on the wish list that's need for our home. And then donation links are pinned: PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Buy Me Coffee. So everything is the BC Preacher. The BC Preacher. Kiss the 9s and 10s. Yeah. So, all right, you guys. God bless you. Appreciate you guys. Love y'all. Good night. God bless.